Hello everyone, in this video presentation, I will explain my perspective on harm reduction, specifically supervised injection facilities, as well as how I would approach working with a client struggling with addiction. What is harm reduction in my terms? Harm reduction is a public health approach that focuses on minimizing the negative consequences of substance use rather than insisting on abstinence. It recognizes that drug use exists in society and prioritizes safety, dignity, and non-judgmental support. By offering evidence-based strategies like needle exchange programs and supervised consumption sites and overdose prevention, harm reduction aims to reduce health and social harms. This approach empowers individuals, respects personal choice, and acknowledges the broader social factors that often influence substance use. Harm reduction and my Moscosoin. Harm reduction aligns with my Moscosoin in many ways. One example would be through my commitment to person-centered care and advocating for accessible mental health and addiction services. I strongly believe in meeting individuals where they are and recognizing that social factors that influence substance use, which makes harm reduction an approach I typically support. My personal experiences have reinforced the importance of understanding addiction as a complex issue rather than a failure. However, I sometimes struggle with the idea of harm reduction because of my competitive and perfectionist personality. I usually focus on solutions and progress, which make it difficult to fully accept approaches that don't prioritize abstinence or immediate change. A metaphor that resonates with me is thinking of harm reduction as a crutch. It serves as a support between struggle and stability. No one expects someone with a broken foot to be walking without a crutch. I believe an illness is an illness, regardless if it's physical or not. My professional perspective. From a professional perspective, I see harm reduction as a valuable approach that promotes trust and engagement between service providers and individuals struggling with addiction. By prioritizing safety and non-judgmental care, it encourages people to get support without the fear of stigma, ultimately improving public health outcomes. Additionally, harm reduction strategies reduce immediate risk like overdose and disease transmission, making recovery more accessible for those not ready or able to pursue abstinence. However, I find a key limitation is that harm reduction can sometimes be misinterpreted as enabling substance use, which may lead to resistance from the public or policymakers. An example discussed in lecture would be Bill C2, which impedes the implementation of supervised consumption sites. Additionally, while it addresses immediate harms, it does not always provide a direct path to long-term recovery, which may be frustrating in systems focused on measurable progress. A useful comparison is seeing harm reduction and abstinence-based models as complementary rather than opposing. One focuses on stabilization and safety, while the other emphasizes long-term change. My approach to supporting addiction. I would approach supporting working with individuals affected by addiction by viewing the person holistically, prioritizing trust, safety, and empowerment. Recognizing that trauma influences substance use, I would ensure interactions are non-judgmental, validating, and focused on collaboration rather than persuasion. This would also include advocating for better access to services while acknowledging the barriers that impact recovery. Personally, I value harm reduction as it meets people where they are, reduces immediate risks, and promotes long-term engagement. Also, it aligns with my identity as an addictions and mental health practitioner because I believe in care that prioritizes overall well-being over punishment. However, I recognize its challenges such as public stigma, policy barriers, and funding limitations that may affect harm reduction's effectiveness. Additionally, my focus on progress and solutions sometimes makes it difficult to accept immediate recovery, which could be frustrating in treatment planning. Despite this, I believe balancing harm reduction with a long-term recovery goal is key to supporting individuals in a way that is both realistic and empowering. After reflecting on harm reduction, I recognize its important role in supporting individuals with addiction. While I value its effectiveness in reduction in harm and promoting accessibility, I also acknowledge its limitations. Despite my biases due to my solution-focused mindset, I also see harm reduction as a necessary approach to substance reduction. Moving forward, I aim to continue to gain hands-on experience in harm reduction settings at placement. Thank you.